Welcome back to the Traders Network. I'm Michael Yorba, your host, broadcasting to you live from the Dallas KFXR 1190 AM iHeart Media Studios and yorbamedia.com. All right, I'm joined on the show now with Ted Karkus, CEO of ProPhase Labs. Ted, welcome to the show. Thank you for showing up.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks for having me.
All right, my pleasure. You know, you've got well over 25 years of experience in the securities and capital markets, but you are also very versed in your industry sector. Let me back up a little bit and give you a chance to give our audience a flavor for the leadership skills, what you bring to ProPhase Labs, and then please, let's walk right into the company.
Sure. So actually I worked on Wall Street for probably, 10 or 15 years, and I moved up the ladder, although moving up the ladder wasn't what I enjoyed doing. I had more of an entrepreneurial flair growing up, and so while I wore a suit and tie to work, and at one point I was the director of an institutional equity department on Wall Street, I found myself enjoying investing in small cap companies, growth companies, often healthcare companies, and I made an interesting transition from working on Wall Street to working on Main Street. I remember this movie, Wall Street, the original one, with Bud, which was played by Charlie Sheen. And I remember what a knock there was on people working on Wall Street. And I remember his father, Martin Sheen, saying, "Hey, Bud, maybe prison will do you some good because you should learn how to produce something." And I didn't love that line at the time, but interestingly, looking back on it now, it's exactly what I've learned to do. I've learned from moving around financial instruments and trading financial instruments to now we produce a product, we sell a product, and I love what I'm doing.
Yeah, let's talk about ProPhase Labs, and by the way, it's PRPH for the symbol, right?
Correct.
Okay, talk to us about it.
Sure. Okay, so we sell a product called Cold Ease Cold Remedy. Our lozenges are clinically proven to shorten the duration of the common cold. It all started out in '92. When the Dartmouth College did a study on our lozenges that showed that they shortened the duration of the common cold. In '96, the Cleveland Clinic did a study where they were actually setting out to prove that the product didn't work. But they were shocked to find out it worked incredibly well. It was, again, clinically proven to shorten the duration of the common cold. That's what put the product on the map. Retailers around the country couldn't keep it on the shelves because there was this story out there, little company has a cure for the common cold. And, of course, we don't say it's a cure. We just say it shortens the duration of. But that's what put the product on the map. Consumers around the country were going to the retailers trying to buy the product. At the time, I was an investor. I provided the original working capital that was used to ramp up the production of the product so that it could get on the shelves. And from there, in '96, '97, '98, everyone made a lot of money, and then sales started to drop. And the direction of the company, I at least felt, went in the wrong direction. Fast forward 10 years, and I said, you know what, it's time to make a change. And we're a small public company, and in public companies, there's a shareholders meeting every year where you elect a board of directors. Now, typically, 99% of the time, you only have one board of directors to vote for, and shareholders don't really have a choice. And in 2009, I decided to give them a choice. I'd never done this before, didn't know anything about it, sounded like a neat idea. So I nominated my own board of directors to show up and be voted on in this election. Lo and behold, I was sued in federal court twice, which cost significant legal fees. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. But fortunately, I won by the narrowest margins. And because I won, the company actually paid for my legal fees. Otherwise, I would have had some very serious problems. The board, once it won the election, it hired me as the CEO. And all of a sudden, I found myself from working on Wall Street to running a public company. I'd never been a CEO before, never run a consumer products company before. The company's sales have been declining for years. And so I had to figure out how to turn around the company, turn around the brand, all while learning how to be a CEO, and it was quite an undertaking, and that was about 5 years ago.
I want to hear about that because that's not an easy feat, especially coming in cold into a position that you've never done before. And that's quite a daunting task, and then to go out and then make a success of it. Talk to me about that. What happened there?
Sure. So here I am. I walk in first day. All the employees of the company, it was about, in our headquarters, there was about 26 people. They all thought that they were going to be fired. They're all giving me these strange looks. You can only imagine what they were thinking and what the the prior management had been saying to me, saying about me. And I brought in the first day a guy that I thought was very strong financially that could actually, oversee the financials. We did have a CFO, but I wasn't, sure what was really going on there. So he came in as a consultant. His name is Bob Cudahy, and I brought him in with me so that he could at least oversee the financials while I was trying to figure out the rest of the company. Originally, I thought I was just going to break up the company. There was a pharmaceutical division, and I was going to sell the pharmaceutical division to a major pharmaceutical company, take all that cash, distribute it to the shareholders, be a winner to all the shareholders, and go back to working on Wall Street or investing in companies. But after a short period of time, I learned that the lead product in the pharmaceutical division had failed. I had to turn around and see what was left, and that was Coldies. And Coldies also had declining sales. So myself and Bob went about figuring out what to do, and I literally I started with a personality assessment and I had to assess every single employee in the company and figure out which ones were productive and which ones weren't. And I developed a methodical process for assessing every employee between letting people go and then hiring new people. And over a period of the first 2 years, rebuilt the entire headquarters, while at the same time, I rebuilt the entire marketing program from scratch for Coldies.
I want to stay on this with you because that's an important part. Something that somebody is either in your position, about to be in your position, can learn from. The process of figuring out the good from the bad when it comes to the humans, and then I really want to know how you turned around the marketing.
Oh, great. So let's talk about employees first. Now, understand, I didn't do this by myself, and I didn't have the expertise, but fortunately, a gentleman on my board of directors, his wife, actually is a management consultant, and I didn't believe in management consultants at the time. I thought of them as investment bankers that will simply learn about your company based on what you tell them, and then they just, in a different form, tell you what you've told them. But in a weak moment, I hired the management consultant. She turned out to be phenomenal, and she guided me in so many directions, one of which was understanding that every employee has strengths and weaknesses. And the key is to have employees whose strengths match the requirements of the job. So that, for instance, when we want to hire somebody new, we never interview anyone until they've gone through the process first. Interviewing is the last step, not the first step. The first step, actually, is to write a job description. And what's interesting is our senior team, when we go about writing a job description, we all have different viewpoints as to what the most important elements are in that job description. Not everybody is strong in every area. So you need a job description where you figure out exactly what's most important. You then have to screen for people who fit that job description. We give them a personality assessment, which shows their strengths and weaknesses. If their strengths match up with the job description, as well as their resume, and their experiences match up, then the last step is to interview those people. So I actually had every single person in the company, including myself, take a personality assessment to see what our strengths and weaknesses are. And based on that, and based on working with people over a period of time, we weeded out the people that really weren't producing and really didn't fit the jobs that they should be doing. And we went about this process of hiring new people. And since that time, over the last several years, virtually every single person we have hired is still with the company today. They're thriving. It's created a great corporate culture, and that's how we've gone about our business. Congratulations
on that. I really appreciate that. Both for the fact that you've got people in the right place doing the right thing. Obviously, the investors are going to be pleased with that because turnover leads to very, very bad things that occur with the company. Then you took products that were losing and turned that around. How did that happen?
Sure. So interestingly, in my first year, because sales had been declining for several years prior to my arrival, each year there's something called ECRM, which is basically a convention that takes place, at least for cough cold products, it takes place in roughly February, where all the retailers come together for a period of 3 or 4 days, and we meet with about 70 different retailers, and we have 20-minute meetings with each of these 70 retailers over this period of time. And with each one, we basically review the past year, we review what's going on in the industry and with our products right now, and we review our plans for the following year. Now, when your sales are declining, retailers, the buyers, they have enormous pressure to maximize the profitability on every square inch of the shelf. So the person in charge of the cough cold category, and typically at the big retailers, this might be $3 billion worth of sales that they're responsible for. On every square inch, they have to determine exactly what product, what facing is going to be there to generate profits. And if your sales are declining, when we go into those meetings, they basically said, Ted, love your passion, love your enthusiasm, love how you're turning around the company, but your sales are declining. We have to kick one of your products off the shelf. Which one should we take off this year? And I went through 2 years of battles with the retailer saying, hey, we're really turning around the company. We're really turning around the brand. We're bringing new marketing muscle in, and we're going to turn around sales. So please don't take any products off the shelf. And in fact, as we create new products, please put them on. And that was a major battle. And one of the issues is as products are coming off the shelf, you get less visibility. If you have less visibility, the consumers buy less. If consumers buy less, then the retailers want to kick more products off your shelf. And that's how products go out of business, because they get less and less shelf space, and then they get worse positioning. They'll end up when you see a product, and it's one product in the bottom right corner of the shelf in the aisle, you know that that's a product that's probably close to going out of business. So I had to fight to turn that around. I had to put extra dollars into marketing to jumpstart the brand, to get the momentum going in the right direction. And once we did that, then the retailers responded. They started giving us more shelf space. We were able to introduce new products and, again, continue to grow the shelf space, continue to grow our visibility. And for 3 years in a row, we've grown sales pretty significantly, outperforming our category and our competitors.
Ted, let's take a short break here, and I want to go into introducing new products on the other side.
Sure, looking forward to it.
All right, we'll be right back with Ted Karkus, CEO, ProPhase Labs. Web address, ProPhaseLabs.com. Symbol on the stock is PRPH, and special thanks to 1-800-PublicRelations.com for all their PR and media support. We'll be right back with Ted Karkus.
Call Big D Cats Catamarans for fun corporate events and private parties. Come celebrate with your special clients and build your team. Bring up to 85 of your clients and friends for dinner and dancing on the yacht just minutes away from your office at Pier 121 Marina on Lake Louisville. Come sailing, golfing, target shooting for a fun yet elegant evening and cruise. You have to see this beautiful 70-foot catamaran. Check out the website at bigdcats.com. And to book your event today, call 214-705-3772.
Are you keeping pace with the change in business development technology? Make the job of your sales team easier and lower cost. The world is moving to mobile apps. Digital publishing is the way of the future. For less than $90 a month, Cookie can create a professional mobile app for your company. If you don't have one now, you'll be left behind. Make marketing more powerful, more successful. Big results don't need big production and big costs anymore. Contact Cookie.com now. Cookie is the solution for you to create content live, easily, and fast to your own mobile applications. Cookie.com, Kooke.com.
Have a car you're thinking of trading in or selling on your own? Would you rather not deal with all the hassle? Take the easy route and help a kid at the same time by donating it to Dallas Can. Your car will be picked up for free within just 1 day. You'll get a great tax write-off, and you'll feel good about yourself for doing something good for at-risk kids who need a second chance. Call today at 972-274-5437. That's 972-274-KIDS. Or you can donate online at TexansCan.org. Call today, and remember to write off the car, not the kid.
This is Pete the Fast Creek, host of Race Talk, the motorsports talk show heard every Saturday live from high noon to 2 p.m. right here on 1190 AM. NASCAR, NHRA, the IndyCar Series, we talk about it all. Plus, we let you know where they're racing right here in the Metroplex. So join me, Pete the Fast Creek, for Race Talk, the motorsports talk show live at high noon right here on 1190 AM and streaming live at iHeartRadio.com, keyword 1190 AM Dallas-Fort Worth. And remember, keep your racing on the track, not on the street.
Welcome back to the Traders Network. I'm Michael Yorba, your host, broadcasting to you live from the Dallas KFXR 1190 AM iHeart Media Studios and worldwide through Yorba Media. All right, I'm joined on the show with Ted Karkus, CEO, ProPhase Labs, symbol PRPH, I transposed that, and ProPhaseLabs.com. We were talking about keeping the company around, coming in, actually making a turnaround here, employees, products, getting some of the standard products that you've already got on place in and keeping their shelf location, if you will. I'm not in the retail business, but you can correct me on the terminology. But now I want to get into launching new products. This I'm really interested in.
Okay, sure. So first of all, it helps to have a reputation with the retailers, to be doing business with them. It's actually the back office logistics are pretty complicated, and fortunately, I did inherit a back office that was already developed. I had a great IT guy. We had great software already in place, to the extent that we didn't actually, our COO, Bob Cudahy, I mentioned, he implemented all new software. I don't get involved in that aspect of the business, but that's important if you're going to do business with retailers. In terms of introducing new products, it's sort of a chicken or egg situation in that you can do a bunch of marketing to get awareness of the product before you put it on the shelf, or just as you're putting it on the shelf, but that costs a lot of money. That's a lot of upfront money. On the other hand, if you put products on the shelf and you haven't marketed them yet and there isn't brand awareness, they're not going to sell a lot in the beginning. And within our company, we always say products don't sell themselves without marketing. And there's two ways that you can market a product. One is, the traditional media, TV, print, radio. There's social media, there's PR, et cetera. Mm-hmm. The other way is marketing in the store, where vast majority of the time that's when the consumer makes their decision, is actually when they're in the store. And you can do in-store advertising either through the retailer's circulars or through what we call TPRs, which are temporary price reductions. Consumers love price reductions. It always moves product. But at the end of the day, what's important is you need a product that's unique, has unique selling points. That's called the USP. You need products that are differentiated from the products that are already on the shelves. It is very difficult, if you are a new company, quite frankly, to get a product on the shelf because the retailer doesn't trust that you're going to market it and that it's going to sell. And so you either have to have a fantastic product or you have to generate some buzz. Some in the industry, what they'll do is they'll start with an infomercial, and they'll sell the product looking just to break even on sales, just to generate the awareness for a period of time, and then after, say, 6 months on TV, and all they're really looking to do in selling direct to the consumers to break even, maybe even lose a little money, but once you create that brand awareness, then the retailers want it in the store. Another thing you can do is retailers love having an exclusive. If I go to a Walgreens or a Walmart and I say, hey, we're going to give you an exclusive, you're going to be the only retailer carrying this new product that we're introducing, they love the exclusive. However, the caveat is, with all retailers, if you're not selling product within the first 6-9 months, you're not making their hurdles, they're going to kick you off the shelf and they're not going to take you back in again.
Right. You have some new products you want to talk about?
Sure. So in the early days, when we just had Cold-Ease lozenges, the company came out with different flavors of lozenges. After a while, the new flavors of lozenges simply cannibalized the other flavors, and the total sales weren't growing. So we now focus on not just lozenges. We focus on both form and function. So we started with lozenges, then we moved into Cold-Ease oral spray, and then we moved into something which we call quick melts, which are tablets that dissolve really fast in your mouth. We found that some consumers loved the lozenges, but by the same token, there were other consumers that didn't. And so we needed to find a way to introduce products that shortened your cold, so it gave the benefits to the consumer that they wanted, but in a form that they liked. So we changed the forms. We provided new forms in the oral sprays and the quick melts. And then within the quick melts, we also look to provide additional benefits. That's what we call the functions. So in addition to shortening your cold, our products last year, also one version gave you nighttime, a great natural nighttime sleep. That was our daytime, nighttime product. And then we provided one that also boosted your immune system with natural ingredients. And now we've just introduced our latest product, which is a natural multi-symptom relief quick melts, which shorten your cold, and also, while shortening your cold, provide relief of symptoms of cold and flu. So we've now gone into not only shortening colds, but also providing relief. So going into next year, so this is a product actually that just hit the shelves, and it's doing really well already. And next year, we'll provide additional products. We're actually looking to move outside just the cough cold category. We may move into the allergy category. We may move into the dietary supplement category. We haven't gotten into too many specifics, but the cough cold category isn't really growing as a whole. And whereas there are other categories where shelf space is expanding, and it'll be a lot easier to introduce new products where the shelf space is expanding, and that's where we're looking to go into next year.
Let me ask you this part. Getting customer feedback so that you can actually have something concrete to make a decision, a business decision. And when you make a decision in your industry sector, there's retooling, there's all kinds of stuff that has to occur. How do you get the customer to... Excuse me, I had to sneeze first time in 4 years. Anyway, how do you get the customer to interact with you on a robust fashion so that you can get enough data to make these kind of decisions that you have to make?
Michael, I'm so glad you asked that question. I don't know how other companies do it, but at our company with Coldies, we have a package insert inside every package of Coldies. Now, we sell about 5-6 million packages a year. Some percentage of those consumers will actually find the card insert inside. On one side is a message about the science of Coldies. On the other side is a personal message from me where I really wish them well. I hope that they get well sooner, that they've got the right product in their hands. And then I say, if you'd like to reach out to me and provide feedback, positive or negative, feel free to reach out to me. And I have a special email address that I provide to them. And I literally, personally, read and respond to every single consumer that writes to me and provides feedback from that card. And those are all people that have obviously purchased the product, taken the product, and I listen to that feedback, and it only takes a couple of people saying the same thing before I know that there's either a problem or there's something good going on. And for instance, when we did this in the early days with the lozenges, there were people that said, hey, I would love something other than a lozenge, and that's when we came out with the oral spray. Same thing happened when we went into the quick melts and when we go into different forms and functions and additional benefits. I listen to the consumers first, because at the end of the day, it's the consumers that know first, and it's the consumers that know best. And I don't pretend that myself and the rest of our senior team and our employees know better than the consumers, so we always listen to them first.
Okay. All right. And so I get it. Personal touch, and they can get a direct line to a decision maker at the top of the company.
Sure. And interesting, some of the emails, they say, is this really Ted? Am I really speaking to the CEO? Or, writing to the CEO, and I say, yes, absolutely. And sometimes I'm reading emails at 3 o'clock in the morning, but I do get to everybody's email. It works out to probably, 1,000 emails a year, but it's spread out. So, I read, as long as I keep up on it every day, I can do that. And consumers love it, and when they hear back from me and the product works for them, we have fans for life. Right. And that's the fan base that we're trying to build with Coldies. Good work.
If I can applaud you. 2015, what's to come?
All right. So we actually had 3 years of sales growth. After sales bottomed in 2010, we started growing 2011, 2012, 2013. Interestingly, in 2014, our sales took a small dip, primarily because we transitioned from a wider lozenge package to a narrower lozenge package, and some of the retailers, instead of selling through the wider package, ship them back to us so that they could have a cutoff point where their shelves would be cleared, and then they'd start accepting the new, narrower package. And again, I mentioned earlier about how critically important shelf space is. So we listened to the retailer's needs, and we responded with a narrow package. That created a dip in sales. We're looking for sales to start growing again in 2015 with the new products that we're introducing. I've mentioned publicly already that we're looking to expand outside of the cough cold category. And given our great relationships with the retailers based on our performance over the last several years, I'm looking forward to great things.
All right. It sounds like everything is just you've done a remarkable job coming in cold, getting the right people in the organization in the right place, and then turning around the sales, and then coming up with new products and keeping the older products on the shelf. Mike, congratulations. I really appreciate you being on the show.
Thanks, Michael. I really Appreciate the compliments. It's great being on the show. I'm passionate about Coldies and about ProPhase Labs, and I love telling the story. I really enjoy it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Before you run, we've got about 30 seconds left. Are there any physical events that our audience can go and see or reach out to you? Anything that's happening?
Sure. So first of all, you can go to ProPhaseLabs.com if you want to learn about the company. You can go to www.coldeeze.com if you want to learn about all of our products. That's COLDEEZE.com. Listen, if you buy the product, you don't even have to go online. If you buy a package of Coldies and you pull out the insert, there really is an email address for me, and you can reach out to me. I don't give that out publicly. That's only for consumers. But if you want to reach out to me publicly, happy to hear from you if you purchase a package.
Got it. All right. Thank you so much for being on the show.
You're quite welcome.
All right, on the other side of this break, we'll be right back. Oh, you know what? That's the end of our show. All right, I want to thank everybody for participating with us, Ted Karkus for being on the show, and PRPH is the stock symbol, ProPhaseLabs.com, and special thanks to 1-800-PublicRelations.com for all their PR and media support.
Thanks for listening to today's program. The Traders Network is a production of Yorba.tv LLC and is streamed live and archived at yorbamedia.com. We invite you to listen live, join in the conversation real time, and link to the Traders Network on the Yorba Media website. All opinions in this show are that of the presenters or their guests, and not of this station's owners or management. These opinions are for educational purposes only and should not be interpreted as investment or financial advice. All investments involve risk, and past performance is not indicative of future results. Tune into the Traders Network every Monday through Friday afternoon here on 1190 a.m.